Hey, just a heads up before the video begins, this project will feature conversations about rape and sexual assault, as well as depictions of violence. Please take care of yourself as needed. Throughout the ages of history, as long as there have been gods, there have also been monsters. In ancient Greek myth, titans swallow their young, cyclops are slain by nobody, and time again, women are transformed after falling prey to the gods, who are power personified. Violated and victimized women are unfortunately commonplace in Greek myth, but among their ranks, a victim turned monster has continued to intrigue mankind through millennia: Medusa. To dig into the lasting, ever-changing legacy of Medusa, we'll first rehash the Medusa myth and its important components. Then we'll talk about Medusa's reclamation by feminists and women, and try to explain why this figure is so set in stone. Sorry. So let's talk about myth. As a genre, myth defies the concept of a single canonical tale, which means it can be difficult to label something as the story of Medusa. However, the most widely read version of Medusa's story comes from a 1st century text called Metamorphoses, written by the Roman poet Ovid, who says Medusa was raped by Poseidon at the temple of Athena, and in revenge, Athena turned her into a monster. Ovid also mentions that Medusa was slain by Perseus, an ancient hero, who was helped on his quest by Athena. This role of Athena caught my eye, and it also caught the eye of Dr. Rachel Hart, a professor of classics at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Here's what she had to say.
Of course, we don't want to think of, an extremely powerful goddess as not caring about women, especially in the story of Medusa, who is, at least some points in her story, absolutely a victim. And so that kind of comes into especially the story of Perseus, who later is sent to behead her. And of course, Athena helps Perseus on his mission, gives him kind of some special tools to be able to complete his quest. What did Medusa do? That's kind of what we think of, even in kind of early waves of feminism, looking back, like, well, what did Medusa do to deserve all this? Absolutely nothing, like in any version.
As Dr. Hart discusses, the original myth can be difficult to stomach. In a way, Medusa isn't even the center of her own story. Instead, she's defined by what others do to her or gain from her. Dr. Hart says even in ancient times, this violation of Medusa is explicit.
And he's very clear about this. He's not he doesn't trivialize it, as, we might expect. He's very clear in his language about what's happening. And it's not usually over-sexualized language. It's very much, oh, this is about power and this is about violence.
So how do these themes of power and violence carry into modern pop culture? How is Medusa able to transform from a monster to a patroness? It's all about reclamation. With waves of feminism in the 20th century, Medusa's association with fear and power made her a symbol of unapologetic feminism. Notably, her face adorned the cover of They Will Know Me by My Teeth by Eliana Dykewoman, a lesbian activist and author. However, modern popularity of Medusa can be traced to an even newer event, the Me Too movement, which made massive strides in destigmatizing conversations about sexual assault. In the last couple years, Medusa has also become a trending figure on #TattooTalk, with Medusa tattoos linked to sexual assault survivors. Here's some examples.
That is so me when I... No.
In a 2023 Parade article, therapist and author Anita Astley says this: I believe the Medusa tattoo is the perfect visual depiction of a survivor's journey from pain to resilience, strength, empowerment, and self-preservation. A protective symbol, as she has the ability to destroy those who are a threat to her being. But of course, modern depictions of Medusa are not a monolith. And like all other pop culture figures, there are many differing opinions on how Medusa should act, look, speak, and react to the events of her myth. Some depictions, especially those with Greco-Roman influences, continue to portray her as the mere monster. For example, Medusa appears in the Percy Jackson series, a wonderful collection of books and a widely hated duo of movies. Unfortunately, I'm about to show you a clip from that movie, so brace yourself if necessary.
son of Poseidon. I used to date your daddy.
Need a hand?
Oh, Grover. Thanks.
Come on, let's go.
I hear you have the lightning bolt. May I see?
I don't have it.
Let me see your eyes. I hear they're bluer than the Circassian sea. Open them, or my hungry babies will have to open them for you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Son of Poseidon.
Heads up.
In this clip, we see a very different version of the Medusa story, one that not only keeps her in a villainous role, but changes the narrative about her rape altogether. Of course, we also see Percy occupying the role of, well, Perseus in decapitating her. This is a potent and repeated image. It doesn't just appear in this very poorly made movie. The head of Medusa is often the cultural fixation. And as Dr. Hart says, it's been that way for millennia.
Greek art, kind of through the classical and a little bit later periods, tend to almost entirely depict people in profile, except for Gorgons. Gorgons are frontal, they are staring straight at the viewer. Just everything in that kind of visual image of the Gorgon, I think, was meant to, if not cause fear, at least cause discomfort.
In the end, Medusa is a striking figure through the centuries, but she's also one pop culture has shifted and changed. I want to leave you with a final image of Medusa, which inspired me to select this topic in the first place. The sculpture was created by Luciano Garbati, a man, in 2008, but it saw a resurgence of popularity with the Me Too movement and the trials of Harvey Weinstein. The statue depicts Medusa with a straightforward, unyielding expression, with her snakes tossed around one shoulder. She is nude and holds a sword in one hand. In the other, she holds, not aloft, not triumphant, but with a firm and strong grasp at her side, the head of Perseus.